Well, joining us now is Vince Coglianese, editorial director for the Daily Caller. Vince, welcome back. Great to see you. As we just heard from Eric, President Biden is vowing to work with Republicans on his infrastructure bill, but Democrats also signaled that they would go it alone if need be. Vince, your thoughts. Do you actually think a compromise can and will be reached?
No, I don't, because I don't think, that there's been any evidence in the near term or in the past that these parties want to work together. And the numbers that Joe Biden is talking about are not the kinds of numbers that you can negotiate on. I mean, between the American Families Plan and the American Jobs Plan that he's advancing, those are numbers of the federal government spending $4 trillion. Republicans, what's their starting bid going to be? $2 trillion? They're not going to go for that. I'd be very surprised if they did, because what you're looking at is we're already living in a world where prices are skyrocketing for normal Americans all over the place. Have you noticed the cost of houses? Lumber has gone up, commodity prices, copper's going up, renting a car is going up, buying a car, buying a used car, just household goods, everything is going up. What happens if the government spends $4 more trillion? At some point, the jig is up, right? I mean, we're going to have a real problem with the economy, and nobody in Washington is really talking about that. But that's the kind of thing that I think Republicans are concerned about, and it's the reason why I doubt there will be any meaningful deal between the two sides.
Yeah, and we also mentioned today the President and First Lady visited an elementary school in Virginia. This after news of emails obtained through a Freedom of Information Act reportedly showed that the American Federation of Teachers had actually communicated with the CDC and the White House regarding school reopening guidelines in February. What more do we know about this?
Yeah, I mean, not only were they communicating, I mean, obviously they'd be advocating their interests, but the CDC had sent the American Federation of Teachers a draft copy of the guidance for reopening schools before we, the American public, got to see that guidance. That was in February. That's what these emails reveal. So the CDC, run by Democrats, remember, the Democratic Party has taken just this year alone, all of its lawmakers, they've taken $1.6 million from this teachers union. They turn around and they then offer the ability for the teachers union to help author the guidance out of the CDC before it's released to the public. The American Federation of Teachers, by the way, was advocating to keep the schools closed as long as possible, to slow down reopening in order to gain leverage in these debates, in order to get more money out of the American taxpayer. It is a vicious story of corruption, and one that is not serving the students of the American people well at all. If you let the biggest teachers union in the country dictate what the CDC is going to release, that's not science, that's just politics.
And a lot of upset parents there, too. Vince, before I let you go, I want to get to this. San Francisco Archbishop Salvador Corleone released a pastoral letter over the weekend in which he talked about why Catholic public figures who are pro-abortion should not receive Holy Communion. Now, he didn't mention President Biden or Speaker Pelosi by name, but he seemed to infer it in that. What effect, if any, do you think the Archbishop's comments will have?
Well, hopefully a reminder that more bishops that should speak up in this way, and that the church should take its role seriously as a church. It is not a social club where people come and have varying views on the political issues of the day, and therefore, every view is welcome. That's the kind of sort of secular relativism the church is supposed to stand against. Look, if I skip Mass, I don't receive communion. What happens if you support a system that kills 1 million babies a year in the United States? Maybe at some point we should pause and take a look and be like, it is not good for the church or for the person who is responsible for that to receive communion. It is just not. They need to go with a clear conscience to receive that Eucharist. And that's not the circumstances that many of these elected officials are in.
We're going to leave it right there. Thank you so much, Vince. We appreciate it. Vince Coglianese, editorial director for the Daily Caller. Thanks again.
Thank you.